everybody. Those of you who don't know, this is Mike Fulton. We met at WIA this past September.
Yep.
And just re-met up at the Indianapolis Woodworking Show. And he allowed me to interview him today, and he's going to be the guinea pig, and we're going to try to get one a month for the rest of the year. So Mike's going to be January, and February we'll have a new maker, and we'll go to their shop and see them.
Cool.
So, Mike, for those that may not know you, who are you and where are you from?
Born and raised here in Anderson, Indiana. Pretty much well, my profession, my money-making profession, I should say, is I'm a retail manager for a automotive store, and I do woodworking on the side, and I've been doing the YouTube thing for almost 2 years now. And just having a lot of fun doing it, and I'll continue doing it until it's not fun.
Very cool. And where'd you get the maker bug from?
I've always been into woodworking. I think it really all generated probably from shop class in middle school. Didn't know anything going into shop class. I didn't know what a hammer was or a screwdriver or anything. When I came out of that class, I had a pretty cool clock, and I was pretty proud of it because it's my first big project, or first real project, and it also had my name on it. And it kind of all started from there. And my mom bought me actually that chop saw right there, matter of fact, it's the same one, for Christmas one year. And then every year from Christmas I've always gotten a tool or some sort of big item, game-changing tool, and it's kind of created into what it is today. No one person has kind of gotten me into it, but it was just I took inspiration from a lot of people, my brothers, my mom, my family, YouTube. I've gotten inspiration from a lot of people, and that's kind of where it's all came from.
What was the first thing you could remember making?
Probably that clock, at least memorable one. I actually still have that clock, and I redid that clock about a year ago, and gave one to my son, my original one to my son, and I gave the one I remade to my daughter. So now they have that clock, and hopefully they can pass it down. It's nothing fancy. It's just a pine board with my name cut out of it, and it has a clockworks on it. It's nothing fancy, but it was one of my first projects that I liked the end result.
Right.
I made a lot of projects that I hated, but that was probably.
I think we all have.
Yeah. But I think that was my first project that the end result I liked, and ever since then, and what can I make today that's I'm going to like the end result. And even in today's projects, I think more about that end result now than what I did even 2 years ago. That end result is more rewarding than anything right now. The process alone anymore is kind of boring now, but I try to do different ways to make the same thing. For example, my last video, the steam box, instead of going out and buying a $2 knob for the door for that thing, I went to the lathe and made one just out of scrap wood. And it was just a simple knob, but it A, gave me practice, and B, I didn't have to buy it. So, no one real project that, or no one person kind of stood out, but a little bit of everybody.
We all should know, if not, your channel is MF Woodshop. So, I know this is going to be a pretty easy question, but what's your favorite thing to make with?
As far as like tools or materials?
Materials.
Materials, pretty much strictly woodworking. I've never been into the metal game. I think we talked a little bit about this earlier. Not that I'm opposed to it, it's just it never been my field. So wood for sure. Specifically, anything that I got in my shop, more or less anything. I deal with a lot of scrap. A buddy of mine works at a cabinet shop. He brings me over maple and walnut scraps a lot. And
It's
I
a good
use a
friend
lot
to
of that.
have.
Yeah, I use that a lot. And lately I've been buying UV protected cabinet grade plywood, and that's what I made the router table out of. And really liking working with that. It costs a little bit more, but again, the end result is a lot better.
Very good. And would you like to learn new mediums, or just stay strictly in the woodworking game?
I'm not opposed to bringing in different type of materials. I'm actually considering aluminum for the X-carve, bringing that in. Probably not anytime soon for real metal working, welding and stuff like that. But I'm not opposed to it. I'm not afraid to learn it. I don't know anything about it. I don't know where to buy the material. So that's kind of the hold up.
Okay. And then, what project are you most known for, or what do you think your most popular project is?
Well, according to the stats anyway, there's two of them that, really three of them that kind of stick out as far as the view counts and stuff like that. The router lift table, which was Jay Bates' design. It was an awesome design. It had everything I went with it, so I bought his designs and I built it. And that was the main reason. It had everything I needed, so I didn't have to do the homework on it. Jay did that for me. I was happy to pay for the plans and do it. And I just put a camera up in the back of the shop because I didn't want to give all the plan details away for free, but that's what I did. And that one went over really well, and it's still going over real well. The second one is another YouTuber, Fun with Woodworks, the cooler chest. That one's still going pretty strong. And I still get emails about, what's the dimensions and stuff like that. Well, that was his plan.
That's his.
So that's not my place to tell them.
Right.
I think if you watch the video and seeing how I do it, I think you could kind of figure it out. But that's not my place to give away that information. And then the third one, which was actually my work, was the drill press table and accessories. I added the T-slots to the drill press table and made the waist piece on the X-carve. And I think I brought new life to a drill press table using really the concept of a mortise machine with the wheels, and you can slide the piece back and forth and stay all parallel with the bit. And that one's still pretty popular.
Out of all the shop furniture that's out there on YouTube, I love that drill press table.
A lot of people do.
So that goes as far as memorable projects for other folks, but what is your favorite and most memorable project?
It's probably the hutch, the kitchen hutch. When we bought this house, we had an ugly kitchen and we wanted to remodel it. And we ordered all new cabinets, and there was a corner hutch that matched the old cabinets that I liked. I still wanted that feature, but when I went to order that hutch, they wanted like $1,500 to build this hutch. And I just thought that was crazy. And so that was the project that I took on, the biggest project I took on by myself. And I actually went out and bought a new router for that project so I could do dados, and that kind of opened up the garage for more ideas and techniques and learning more stuff. So I think that one is probably my favorite one, and I think even when you came in, I think that was the first thing I showed you. I was like, look at this.
Yeah.
So I think that one's better.
Yeah, and I found it interesting how you were saying that this one piece kind of spawned the rest of MF Woodshop.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, very cool. If you could make anything, what would you make and why?
Well, I'm still kind of dead set on the rocking chair. I've been wanting to make this rocking chair of my mother's for years. I don't know where this rocking chair came from in the family, but I know it's been in the family for a long time. And you know, it's not a good-looking piece, in my opinion. It's still a nice piece, but it's kind of a painted piece, and it has you know, some pinstriping details on it. It's just not my flavor, but I've always liked the design of it, and I've always wanted to redo that, and that's kind of why I've always wanted a steamer, and that's why I got one for Christmas, so I could then start that process on that rocking chair. And I've always wanted to build one piece that is going to be handed down to my kids and their kids and whoever else, you know, so maybe 100 years from now, that person's going to be sitting here saying, yes, this guy and great-great-grandfather, whoever is built this, here's the original video, here's the original piece. Now I'm remaking it because it's, you know, worn out over the years.
That's cool.
So I think the rocking chair is the one piece that I've always wanted to do.
Very cool. And what are you working on now?
I'm working on trying to stay warm.
Understand.
Here in Indiana, it is it's fairly cold outside. And, you know, just walking up the driveway tonight is pretty slick.
Slipping and sliding.
So I haven't been out in the shop probably since before Christmas, and the latest two videos I shot those before Christmas, and I held on to them for the new year. And so right now I don't have anything planned. I got some things kind of drawn up in books, but nothing where I bought materials ready to go to work on.
Couple ideas floating around out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
What is the most vital tool in your shop? If you could just
Table
have
saw.
one tool.
Table saw.
Table saw.
Absolutely. Table saw you can pretty much make anything with. Short of round pieces, you can do the miters, you can do dados, brackets, whatever you need to do to make any type of box. And essentially that's a lot of woodworking. You
Right.
make a box. And if you can make a box, you can make a box pretty. If you can make a pretty box, you can make a cool box. Then I think it spawns from a box.
I think that's the first project that every single person makes is a box, and then from their career progression, it's just how nice can you make that
That's
box.
right. That's right.
But if you could have your dream shop, money's no option, how big would you make it, and what tools would you put in it?
I would probably double the size of my garage, for sure. I don't think I'd go much bigger than that because I think it'd be just tiresome to walk around that much. But as far as tools, yeah, I'd probably pretty much replace all of my older tools and go with a nice, good name brand, whether it be Powermatic or Jet or something like that. I'm really digging Powermatic lately. Not only because of the name brand, but I've been doing some research because I am pondering on some future investments, and I've been looking at them, and I've been trying to do some homework on them before I actually go out and make that purchase. And Powermatic is sticking out to me more than any of them. So.
Cool. Yeah, and I know Mark Spagnola's a big fan of them.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. If Mark says they're cool, I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
I've never worked on any Powermatic tool at all, but at this point of research, I feel confident going to the store, buying any Powermatic brand, and bringing it back home.
Very good. No, I'm not a big fan of the mustard yellow, but I can get right behind grizzly green.
Yeah, Grizzly is right up there with it. Don't get me wrong. I've been looking at some of their stuff too, and their joiners are looking pretty impressive. And you know, Cremona's one of them. Tim Babb's one of them. They'll swear by them. And according to all the reviews and the stats that I've been looking at, there may be a soon 10-inch joiner in my shop.
Very cool. All right, next question. Who is your favorite maker and why?
YouTube or maker in general?
In general and YouTube.
Norm Abram for sure. In general, I grew up on New Yankee Workshop. I think most of us did. There's no explanation for that. I mean, it's just there's no explanation needed.
Yeah.
YouTube, it's hard to say. There's so many of us out there anymore, and there's so many that I haven't even found yet. I really like Steve Carmichael and Cremona for sure. Jay is awesome. All those guys, they're just freaking awesome. And the one thing I like about this community is if I have a problem, if I need advice, they'll give it to me. No questions asked. I'll email them, I'll call them, text them, whatever, and they'll help. That's how I built what I've gotten so far. I didn't know nothing about a website. Nick and Jay, they got me rolling. Dima even helped me on the audio. He emailed me one day and said, "Hey, check out your audio. It's lacking a little," and I fixed it because of that recommendation. I'd probably still be doing it the old way and probably still making crappy audio, But so I take a lot of their advice to heart and a lot of their opinions to heart, especially when it comes to the YouTube analytics and all this stuff.
Yeah, I kind of find that this community is kind of like that old quote that a rising tide raises all ships, because everyone is so collaborative on helping each other out. Mm-hmm. If there's something wrong or you have a question, or they're so supportive of each other, and it's just it's great. It's the way the world should work.
That's as well as put as any.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way it should be. If you need help, you should be able to ask your neighbor for that help.
Right.
And I think that's a perfect way to explain the YouTube community.
And what's great about the internet is that neighbor could be 1,000 miles away.
That's right. And I get a lot of help from McGinn and Brander from Maritime, and a lot of help from them guys, and a lot of advice from them guys. And they're in a different country.
Right.
So yeah. Overall favorite, I can't
narrow it down.
Yeah.
Same here.
But probably my favorite person, just overall general person, is Carmichael.
Yeah, he makes me laugh in every single video.
He's funny, and he generally cares about people, and that's what it's all about.
I agree. So, if you could collaborate with any single YouTube woodworker, who would it be?
I'll take any of them. Any YouTube woodworker is welcome in my shop. I'm not picky. I think if you can build a project with two people, I think it's a better project. I may cut a board one way and it may work fine, but you may have another way to cut that board where it's more precise, more accurate, and easier and safer. So if you can bring two people in a shop anytime, I'm all for that.
Yeah, it goes back to that two heads are better than one.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, as with every podcast nowadays, and just about every show online, what are you watching?
What am I watching? That's a tough question too. I subscribe to the big people, Ramsey's, Carmichael's, Nick, Jay. I don't think I've missed an episode of any of those guys in a long time. But there's a lot of new people on YouTube, you as well, that are just not discovered yet, and they have some good ideas and some good work, and they're just not in front of my face yet, and I'm always looking for that new guy that needs help. Several new YouTubers has reached out to me, and just as Nick and Jay has helped me, I've rolled that onto them.
Yeah, it's that paying it forward.
That's right. Example, Ronnie, it's a wood thing. He contacted me one day and he asked me about the audio, and I told him exactly how I do it, and it's worked out well for me, and that spawned from DEMA, and I rolled that on him, and I think he's now doing that. So, it's. I don't think we're going to have a bunch of Steve Ramsey content creators out there. He set the bar, I think, and he's a good woodworker and he's a good entertainer for sure. But I think everybody is taking advice from everybody else and also expanded on that advice to make their own. And if I can give any help or advice, I will. So I forget the original question, but
It was
who am I watching?
Yeah, who are you watching?
Yeah, everybody, anybody and everybody that's on my subscribe list. I got 300 or 400 people, and whoever's on my TV that night or on my list that night, I'll watch them. And I'll usually go down the list until I've reached that point where I've watched.
Yeah. Yeah. I find it hard to keep up, but I try to keep up and watch, and if it's great, I'll give it a thumbs up, and if it's something that I just can't even fathom, it's like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And I just like pumping up people to keep them, because so many people do it for me. Mm-hmm. I guess I'm trying to pay it forward as well. Like,
sure.
2 thumbs up, keep up the great work. Just.
Yep. Absolutely. Those comments are very powerful. They can be damaging too.
Oh, most definitely.
But they are very powerful. Even if hey, thank you for your video.
Right.
Even if it's simple as that. It's cool. Somebody watched and liked it.
Right.
That's
gives
rewarding.
It gives that human element to whatever numbers.
That's right.
Because a view is, oh, somebody clicked on it by accident. Whenever somebody says, hey, thanks for putting this out, or that was cool, or how did you do that? It gives humanity to that person on the other side of the computer.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So what was your last tool purchase?
My last tool purchase, I think the one that I actually went to the store and bought, was the scroll saw. I got quite a few new tools for Christmas that was given to me. Quite honestly, it probably came out of my pocket anyway, but yeah, I think the scroll saw was my last purchase. Okay. And I haven't even done a damn project with it yet.
Well, you did the tubes for the scroll saw.
Yeah, I've done some stuff for the scroll saw,
right.
But I haven't even done a project with it.
Actually, you did the Walking Dead hanger on the scroll saw.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I wouldn't classify that as a project. It was more of a test for me, but yeah, I guess it was.
I'd say it counted.
It
First
counts.
scroll saw project, and it
Counts.
worked. Check mark.
That's right.
But what was the biggest obstacle to your making career?
Tools, I think. I'm not financially set where I can go out and buy any tool I want. So And I think that intimidates a lot of people. You know, I can't build that because I don't have that tool. You know, the tools don't come all at once. They never have, I don't think. You build them up over years, and you know, you're looking at a shop of, you know, 15, 20 years worth of building up. And now I feel pretty comfortable about walking out that door, and I can pretty much make whatever I want. And I don't have to worry about not having that one tool that's going to set this whole project off. You know? So tools is probably my biggest upset.
And where do you get your inspiration?
Right now, most of it is YouTube. You know, everybody has some great ideas out there, and you know, not to say that I'm stealing them, but you know, essentially we're all stealing somebody's idea from somewhere.
Yeah, somebody made the first cutting board, and somebody made the first pen, and
Yeah,
it's just how you put your own unique spin on it.
I'm not that original creator where I'm going to come up with this whole new invention that nobody's ever seen before, like Izzy or Wendell or anything like that. But you know, I feel pretty confident in my skills that if I had their plans, I could certainly make it. And I'm not afraid to work off plans.
Do you have any other advice for anyone else out there wanting to do this?
To do this, no, just get a camera, get a cell phone, and just do it. The quality of the video, the audio, all that's moot if you have a okay project or a good idea or some good information for somebody. Yeah, just do it. Nothing holding anybody back. It can be a slideshow, and most of the people will gather what you did from a picture slideshow. So it really don't matter, you know, all the cameras, the lights, the, you know, background and green screen or whatever you want to do to it. All that's extra to make your videos and your projects more appealing, but you know, just do it. That's all.
Very cool. All right, and again, thanks, Mike. And where can people find you? And just the floor is yours.
Yep, you can always find me on YouTube, MF Woodshop, and if that ain't enough, go to mfwoodshop.com, and you can find all my social media links. You can find my contact information, and that'll pretty much take care of everything.
Cool. Thanks, Mike.
No problem.
Appreciate it. Thank you for coming.